relationships and all the ways to solve them. Yeah. So you got nothing better to do. Sit around and drink some booze. Think fast, make it last. Shut the past. Tune in to the ModeCast. To the ModeCast. To the ModeCast. To the ModeCast.
But Christmas is over, and now we're back with Aurelio and Mike, because Mike needs to redeem himself.
That's not the only reason.
Which one?
Sorry, I sounded like such an asshole and idiot on the last one.
I just hope I hope the research you did isn't on what we talked about last time, because that boat sailed. This is all new shit now.
I'm like, man, I have to redeem myself. I got to come up with at least one reason how Hillary Clinton lied. Sound like such
Let
a
him
fucking
redeem himself.
dipshit.
We'll let him redeem himself.
All right.
No, that, and we talked for, a little over an hour, and we barely touched on anything.
Yeah.
It's very true.
We got a little
We
sidetracked
have
a couple
round
times, too.
Well, that's what happens.
I'm going to try to talk deeper because I heard the last one, and my voice sounds very high-pitched.
What? No, does it?
So I'm going to start talking like this the whole time.
The only people that have bitch voices here is Jeremy and I.
Well,
That's it.
Look,
And-
boy, you got like a bass in your throat. What are you talking about? Your voice
Do
is pretty.
I really?
Yeah, your voice is pretty deep, dude.
No.
Mine is pretty high. Mine is super high. I sound like I'm still 7 when I listen to recordings. Like, dang.
It's because you get off on a tangent when you start going really quick, and
Yeah.
it's like everything's like this, and it get going.
Yeah, I know why me and Ryan talk fast. Why do you talk fast?
Because he's Mexican.
Because I think fast, son.
I'm a fast thinker, right? My brain's trying to process everything. My mouth's trying to process everything as my brain does it at the same
I don't
time.
know if you know this, Jeremy, but he has a master's degree. It's kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal around here.
Hey,
That's
I'd be the worst if I had a master's degree.
I have many leather-bound books.
So,
I hang out with the offensive line of the Chargers.
Ryan's the type of guy to get a doctorate just so everyone could call him doctor.
oh, fuck yeah.
Dr. Ryan. Sounds like a porn name. Dr. Ryan here.
Dude, just like Ross, too, a paleontologist or some nonsense, calling yourself a doctor.
Well, same with
You're a dentist. You're a doctor.
dentist, Stu, right?
Hey, at least they're still in the realm.
Hey, you know what's funny, Aurelio? The fact that you're like, oh, let's not talk about old shit, because I did the same thing on the way back from Rancho. I was researching Hillary Clinton, what she lied about.
Hey, dude, we dedicated enough time to that.
I don't think we did.
I think we did. I think we didn't. We didn't touch on other stuff.
I think
that we
me and
wanted to
Mike are
talk
just
about.
scared now because we have nothing else to say.
No, I have that, and then I wanted to take it in a little direction too. But can I give you my opinion as to why I think Hillary
I mean,
lied?
you already did last time, but sure, go ahead.
But I know I did it. I did not come up with anything because
I don't know why she lied, but
moron.
she lied. Okay.
She lies because the TV said so.
No, that is not it. I did the research back then, but I didn't really even remember it.
I got you.
But so what I was looking at was the way that she lied is when they said that it wasn't a threat over there. There was just protests that were happening.
Oh, in Benghazi?
Yeah, in Benghazi. So going back to Benghazi, they were saying that there was viable threats. Ambassador Stevens, who ended up getting killed over there, was calling for more security there 11 months prior, and he kept giving all the altercations, everything that was happening over there, saying, "Hey, these are planned." Huh?
The pictures being taken.
Not even that. I mean, these people were launching fucking grenades into the
U.S. embassy.
Into the embassy. It's like, hey, we need more security presence here, and the only security presence that they had was a security that was all staffed by Libyans. All right, so that's why where everyone says that. Not everyone, but a lot of people say that this was an inside job because these Libyan security just let these people walk right through. There was evidence of no forced entry. But getting back to why she lied, she said that there was nothing that caused for more security. No evidence that stated, hey, we need more security over there. Where 11 months prior, there was incident after incident, and they kept bringing it to her.
It's probably nothing out of the ordinary that I'm assuming is what she means, because stuff like that is probably going on all the time. But in her defense, the Democrats have asked the Congress. They put together a bill to increase spending for security in all of their embassies, and the Republicans had denied it like 3 times. So they denied to fund it. They denied to provide any additional, because with security, you need money for it.
Right.
So they have requested more funds to provide more security to their embassies, which was denied over and over and over by Republicans.
But I think that's kind of besides the point when she said that there was not a legitimate reason to send more security.
Yeah.
She flat out said that there's that these threats were not, they're unsubstantiated, and they were nothing out of the ordinary. That's what she said.
Makes sense.
But the guy that is there, who is Ambassador Stevens, said that these threats are targeted threats or targeted attacks and discriminant, meaning that they are very, they're coming after us. We need more security here, and she ignored that for 11 months. So that's to get on the part where she said she lied. I said she lied. She lied about not knowing that there was attacks happening.
Again, I think it just comes down to out of the ordinary that there was probably those. I mean, that probably happens to all the embassies in the Middle East. Somebody probably tries to do something there. So there was nothing substantial in order to say, hey, this attack is going to happen. This huge attack is going to happen on 9/11. That's probably what I'm getting, because the 9/11 attack that happened and killed those 4 people in Benghazi,
right?
There was no indication that was going to happen ahead of time. I'm saying there was nothing that said on 9/11 this is going to happen. Prepare yourself. Blah 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 blah.
Do you know why Ambassador Stevens was even there?
He was an ambassador to Libya.
But why was he there? What was his role?
He was the U.S. ambassador to Libya.
Okay. His role was to coordinate arms deals between the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, so the rebels.
Yeah, the rebels.
Can you just point out that Mike has a notepad for him?
I know, right?
Hey, I don't really care. I did my research. I put all this shit down. I'm not going to forget this and look like an asshole again.
Hey, I have a question. When you said that she didn't lie, what about when she said that it was because of the anti-Islam
the video?
Yeah.
And
that was a blatant lie.
In that case, I don't know enough about it, but it sounds like that could have been a lie, yes.
No, it did. Even the Egyptian prime minister came out and said that they had a conversation. She flat out told him that they knew it was not because of not a protest, it was a planned attack. And then they had like I don't know, what do they call the press conference when they where they're basically a hearing?
Yeah, okay, a hearing, yeah.
Yeah, so they were drilling her, and she was just stopped like
Well, not to mention that the fact that when she was, I forget what title she held.
Secretary of State?
I think so, yeah, Secretary of State. She was saying that, all these people, we are ISIS, Al-Qaeda, we're the ones that we put these people, we gave them all the arms, we put them into power. It's no surprise to us that they're rebelling on us.
Yeah.
And then when she was questioned again about it, she flat out denied that, we didn't know that they would do that to us. We didn't know that this was going to happen.
Oh, we didn't. I mean, she's probably going back to the 80s, though, with Al-Qaeda and Russia.
Right.
Yeah, so she's probably going to back. So back in the 80s, we didn't know. Back in the 80s, she wasn't really involved in politics like she is now. That was under the Reagan administration that did that.
This is an event that not an event, but this keeps repeating itself throughout our political history. Is we put someone into power.
Oh yeah,
Saddam Hussein. We put him into power. Now let's get rid of him. We put we give Al Qaeda, what's his name?
Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden, all this money, power, fucking arms, and then we go out and we get rid of him. Muammar Gaddafi, we did the same thing with him. So all of these people, we're putting them into power, but then we're taking them right back out when they don't do something that we like. So. Like this is a repetitive thing that's going on throughout our political history.
Yeah, we have a mess in the Middle East. It's always been like that in the Middle East. Ever since after World War II, when we cut up the Middle East and divided it by countries without thinking of any of the tribes. World War I?
Yeah, when the Ottoman Empire.
Okay, World War I then, and then World War II we cut out Jerusalem and put the Jews in there. And so it's been coming back to bite us in the ass ever since because these people don't get along. So we made these countries. They're
But don't you think it benefits us by us going to war? Well, not us in general, but I think it benefits politicians and greedy politicians that are in power to send people to war because war ends up creating dollars for these select people.
It benefits some people, yes.
It doesn't benefit us.
I wouldn't say,
as
like Halliburton, like the Iraq War with George Bush and Cheney and Halliburton.
Yeah.
That probably benefited Dick Cheney and his cronies over there.
And
the Middle East is important to the world because of its resources.
Right.
And we need to have stability over there. So when we do poke our nose around too much in the Middle East, that's why they don't like us. And people say, oh, they hate us because of our freedom. No, they don't. They hate us because we're involved in their fucking business all the time.
Right.
We're always going in there. We're invading somebody. We're bombing somebody, trying to get rid of that person, trying to fix this person. And then the Iraq War didn't make anything better for us. Afghanistan, cool. We should have been in Afghanistan.
Well, Desert Storm the first time didn't make anything but
we did that because Iraq invaded Kuwait.
Right.
And so we say, hey, you can't do that. So the first time in Desert Storm was I think was justified. We got him out of Kuwait.
But we didn't finish it, though.
We weren't supposed to finish it, though. We just wanted to get him out of Kuwait. It wasn't a war with Iraq. It was stay away from Kuwait. We got Kuwait's back. Leave Kuwait alone.
We told them to rise up against Saddam, and then we just left them hanging.
But Kuwait's been fine since, so there was no.
No. We told Iraqis to rise up against Saddam, and we left them hanging.
When in the Desert Storm?
In the first one, yeah.
I don't remember that. I was only like 6.
We didn't. Okay, I was 8.
I was 8 too. I was 8 as well, but I don't really remember. The Iraqi people told them, okay, that's fine.
Basically, it was unfinished. We didn't go in. We didn't finish what we started. And I agree to what you're saying. You're saying that we weren't supposed to finish it.
Yeah, we didn't go. We didn't go in that area to defeat
overthrow
Saddam Hussein and overthrow and put another dictator in there. Yeah. We went just to get him out of Kuwait.
That was this time we went around. We went.
This time we went to get him out of there. Yeah,
put in someone else that is going to be more beneficial to the
democratic
US.
society. That's another thing in the Middle East. I don't think you can have democracies in the Middle East.
It doesn't work that way.
Democracy is not for everybody. And when your religion is more important than anything else in the world in your life, democracy is not going to work, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's too hard over there.
But so to touch on, just to get back onto Ambassador Stevens and how he, I really think, and this is just me, I really think that he was left to die.
I don't think so. The attack was a 4-hour attack. I mean, to think
and we never sent anyone in to help him out.
It was longer than that.
No, it was 4 hours.
Really?
It was a 4-hour attack. Who can you send in 4 hours to Libya? You have to pull them from another embassy if you have the resources over there.
What did they say?
How can they get there in 4 hours?
Was Italy? They can send.
Was that what it was? Italy? I don't know. I haven't done as much research as you guys. I just know my general facts and when
look who's in my seat last week now.
I just do my general facts, but I do know that there was nobody near. There was nobody near to send there with a 4-hour response to this happening. So to say that she just let them die, no, she didn't just let them die.
Okay,
she's the Secretary of State.
A 4-hour warning. The chances of them getting someone there to save anybody is unlikely.
Yeah. So you had a 4-hour warning, you could evacuate them.
Maybe.
That's a lot easier. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot easier than sending a rescue party. And even if you did have a 4-hour warning, the fact that they might get there in time it's tough. I mean, did something bad happen? Yes. To blame Hillary Clinton and say that she's a liar and that she let that happen on purpose because for who knows why she would let that happen is it's insulting to
but don't you think it's wrong
that
she lied to the people, though, about why it happened?
When she said what she said, that was the day after what happened. Nobody really knew what happened at the time. Now, a couple of days later, once they got their facts, and again, this all comes down to knowing what you're talking about. You can't say, yes, this was a terrorist attack, and it turns out not to be a terrorist attack. So you have to be able to look at what happened, even though it might be obvious. You still have to verify it. You have to make sure before you give a statement, okay, these guys were attacked, it was a planned attack, da-da-da-da-da. Now, in terms of the video...
Yeah, but she knew right from the get-go.
I don't know where that video came from.
She knew right from the get-go that it was a planned attack, though.
Did she?
She knew 11 months prior.
That's what
she didn't know 11 months prior. She knew that the embassy was being assaulted, but that happens to all the embassies.
That's kind of a conspiracy theory what you're talking about. I'm talking about.
But that happens to all the embassies in the Middle East.
I'm talking about when she blamed the anti-Islam video. She was saying that's exactly why it happened, but she actually knew why it happened. She knew it was a planned attack. but she didn't want to admit it to So I watched this documentary on the parents when the parents were on a news show, and they were talking about how.
What do you mean the parents?
The parents
The
of
parents
people who died.
of the seals, the two seals that died.
Oh, okay.
They were saying that every time they call asking for information, they'll actually tell them they're not part of the immediate family. They'll only talk to the spouses on what happened. She's like, Hillary and Obama both came up to us at the funeral, said that it happened because of an anti-Islam video. So we heard it from their mouth that it was an anti-Islam video when they knew in fact what it was. It was a planned attack.
I don't know about that. Okay.
So they were crying on the news. They're basically saying that Obama and Clinton are liars and.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know why would Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama go up to a parent and say, "Oh yeah, it's because the video of your son died."
They're free, and they're
how is that money?
No, this is still when it didn't come out that she lied. Everyone still thought it was because the anti-Islam
but why
video.
would Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton go up to the parents of the dead seal and say, "Oh, this is why your son died"?
Don't they owe him that?
They don't do that.
They don't owe him that.
So they're lying. I think that sounds.
No, they don't owe him that. To tell him that this is why your son died.
It seems weird to me that you would go up to someone at a funeral.
Yeah, and tell him, "Oh, this is why your son died." It doesn't make any sense.
They
to
want
be honest.
information. They're the ones that were asking. Like,
They asked the question.
Yeah, they
like,
asked
hey,
the
what
question.
happened?
Yeah, it wasn't. They just came up to him. And told
Okay,
him.
no, because the way you run.
Yeah, I was like, wait, that sounds.
Sorry,
why would you do that at a
no,
funeral?
It wasn't that. No, they were like.
I understood
pleading,
you, Ryan.
They were pleading.
Of course
like,
you guys
why? Like why did our child die? And then that's when they were feeding him that line, and they were saying that all it would take for us to go in peace is just to hear Clinton
Why they died?
Yeah, and exactly. Just to explain in detail why they died.
I'd have to research that before I'd have to research that before I can agree or disagree with it. That sounds kind of, if they can't tell anybody what the spouse is, why would they also break real protocol and tell the parents?
No, because after this whole video came out, or the clip about how Clinton ended up talking to the Egyptian prime minister and telling like, oh, we knew from the beginning it wasn't because of the anti-Islam video.
Uh-huh.
So she's just calling and she wants to hear it from them, and they keep saying, "Oh, sorry, you're not part of the immediate family. It's not, we're not authorized to have to tell you this." So they'll only tell the wife basically. And I'm like, well, immediate family? She gave birth to the kid. What do you mean?
Okay. So, anyways, So let's say she did lie about some things. Now,
But do you?
what do you see as an alternative to her, though? Who could be a possible alternative to Hillary Clinton? You want Donald Trump? He's ahead of the polls right now.
with his views.
That's
However,
what I was talking about Jasmine last night. I was saying,
Do you want Ted Cruz?
Well,
She's another wacko.
Well, so Jasmine was watching all these documentaries with me, so she was like saying, I don't understand why Aurelio would go for Clinton. I was like, I get it. He's picking the lesser of the evil. That's what you're saying before.
Yeah, who would you want running this place? And to be honest, even if she did lie,
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with picking Hillary Clinton. I'm saying I understand what you're saying about
I know what you're saying.
picking the lesser evil.
But even she's been in politics about 30 years now, 25, 30 years. If all we can come up with to put dirt on her name are a couple lies about Benghazi, which there's been like 30 trials or 30 committees.
People died, though.
People die every day. A million people died in Iraq and war.
But this was due
our
to
soldiers.
the fact that she let this guy die. This ambassador.
She let him die. She said, "Oh no, you're just gonna die. It's planned."
Okay, because of what he was involved with. And how do you get rid of a conspiracy? You kill everyone that knows.
So now Hillary Clinton is in charge for killing these people because she wants to cover up a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
No
She's
way.
covering up.
That sounds.
So what he was there to disarm the Libyans and send the military weapons over to the Syrian.
She was accused of selling weapons.
Where did you read this at? Where did you get this information from? That Stephen's job was to disarm the Libyans and arm the Free Syrian Army
on this thing called the internet.
Well, yeah, well, what site is it? Like FoxNews.com?
It wasn't Fox News.
RedState.com.
I won't go through anything that has Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC.
Oh, YouTube.
No, but it has. There was articles written in the Huffington Post that I'll follow, and they took the articles out of the Huffington Post and credited him. I watched it. I saw it.
So you're claiming that Hillary Clinton should be charged for murder because she purposely murdered this guy to cover up a conspiracy?
No.
That's what you just said now.
I didn't say she should be charged with murder. I said
but
that
you're saying she killed this
knows
guy.
about it.
So
He
I
knows
think that's
that
crazy.
That's what happened.
So how can you organize with the Libyans or whoever else these terrorists were? How can you organize this guy's death?
Hey, have you watched House of Cards?
With somebody.
Because they've all been doing it for so long. They're protecting all their common interests right now. Okay,
I don't think so.
So
man.
FSA,
I think that's crazy
the
talk.
The general of the FSA basically told Hillary, look, if we don't receive our weapons that we want to take out al-Bashar or whatever he is, we're gonna blow the whistle on all the chemical weapons and the whole chemical weapons theory that you guys have basically went to war with us.
What theories? It's from Syria.
Yes,
the ones that they found and they have, and that Russia is agreed to dispose of, and Russia got involved for the argument. The ones they actually used on people.
Right. Well, I'm sure, whatever. But
they do have chemical weapons. That's why we got involved. They do have chemical weapons in Syria.
No,
or they had chemical weapons in Syria.
Okay, so why did 1 week later, after this general basically says we need to have our shipment, he ends up getting all of his anti-tank missiles. Everything is sent to him. What
does Syria and Libya have to do with each other in terms of that?
Because we were disarming Libya at that point.
So we got all the guns that we provided the Libyan army. That fought against Gaddafi. That fought against Gaddafi. It was Libyans.
In ties with ISIS. They're in ties with all of these people.
I don't know, man. It's starting to get a little extravagant here.
It's not extravagant when you actually think about it and look at it. It's all happening because our history has proven this is what we do.
Put it like this:
we cause disruption in the Middle East to keep going to war.
But why would we risk, or Hillary Clinton, and even if it went up that far up the ladder, if it existed, why would she risk anything for Libya or Syria?
Because you get only guys like me sitting out there saying that this is what's really going on, and I'm considering.
But what does she how does she benefit from it? What is the benefit to the Secretary of State? To have,
I don't think it stops at the.
Well, how far how does it go?
I think it goes all the way up to where everyone who is associated with this person and our government benefits from it. It's not just one person.
Because we're not we're not in Libya. We don't have American companies going to Libya to rebuild Libya.
No,
we don't have American companies going to Syria to rebuild Syria.
You're right, but we are bombing them and we're going to war. So what does that do? It creates all these other government contracts to, hey, build us our bombs, build us all this other shit. And all these people probably donated and gave all this money to their campaign. And we're over there basically hooking them back up for donating their money.
I think you feel that corruption in our government is a lot deeper than what it really is.
I think it's very deep.
I think that sounds House of Cards-ish. Makes for good TV, but not good reality. Because you have to
go that deep, dude.
You have to because if it does, somebody's gonna blow a whistle on it eventually.
No,
it's gonna
not
come
if they're
to light.
Getting paid. It's all about money.
It's gonna come. It has to come to light. We have a political system that is ran by civilian people. Yeah, we have career politicians that are in there for a long time, but you also have other politicians that are not, and you have other politicians that look out for the best interest of the American people or of their district or their state or whatever level of government they're involved in. Somebody in those circles is going to blow a whistle and say, no, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. If not, a lot of people are going to end up dead because the government will be killing them too to cover up what's going on. I disagree. I don't think there is this big conspiracy because Hillary Clinton was involved in order to make certain people money off of the war machine that we have here. That sounds crazy to me, to be honest.
That's my opinion on it.
What do you think, Jeremy? You're pretty quiet.
Well, see, I got way too high right now. So I'm a little nervous and scared because I hate talking about politics because it really does scare me. So I naturally am a conspiracy theorist, but when I logically start asking myself questions, I kind of tear a lot of it apart with, if you take 9/11, for instance, and say it was an inside job, because a lot of evidence says that, things were known. But then you look at it logically, it would have taken so many people to coordinate those attacks. How can that many people keep it a secret?
Right?
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, you're right, but can we
and then
can we really disagree physics?
What physics?
Okay.
How
did the buildings fall?
Oh, okay. I didn't really want to get into a 9/11 argument.
It's already gone there.
Yeah, we're already there now.
Building 7 is the only one I would say is really in question.
That's ridiculous. Do you know about Building 7?
Yeah, the one next to the World Trade Center.
Not
fell
next.
somehow.
It was like a block and a half away and had nothing to do with it. It had 3 fires on it. And next thing you know, the thing is demolition style, imploded from inside and just collapsed.
But there were other buildings that fell around the towers too the same way. And it was all from debris from the towers. Because there was fucking fire falling from the sky.
120 stories of
Yeah, so it's
metal
not going to land
and
next to the building. It's going to
yeah.
land a few blocks away from the building.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't disagree with you.
Steel structures, and I disagree with falling debris hitting these buildings, making them fall and demolition style. And
No, I'm
implode.
not saying that the debris caused the building to fall. I'm saying
what
the
are you
debris was on fire,
Okay.
which caused because there was supposedly in building
All right.
7
Yeah. There was fires
inside
Yeah.
the building.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about building 7 is there was nobody in it. But then the argument to that is, well, the planes had already hit.
Yeah, by that time it was
towers,
probably
so
the whole area was probably
everybody's
evacuated.
Then there was the fact that certain floors.
Okay, but we're getting a little off track. Back to the Hillary
Yes,
Clinton
I
thing.
don't like
Hold
the
on.
9/11 argument.
Yeah, because we can have a whole
We can
hour
talk
on this
for
too.
5 hours
Yeah.
and still have no answers.
Right.
Then we're, how many
Exactly.
years past it now? Shit happened, and there's no way to prove one way or the other, and we can sit here and argue all day, and I could argue both sides of it. I've looked at both sides. I've spent way too much of before I had my kid, looking at 9/11 for some reason, and I don't like, either way I can argue it. Just like the Pentagon, for instance, everyone says that it was a fucking missile because there's no debris. But then it's like, well, if a plane did hit, what kind of things, if it full speed blasts into a building, what would be left of it exactly if everything burned?
Well, what pictures did you see when the plane that supposedly they took over the plane and it went out in Pennsylvania somewhere or whatever, just crashed in a field? What pictures did you see? Any pictures of the plane out there?
Yeah, I remember. I forget what the inconsistencies were with that one because
There was nothing left. They said, the plane totally blew up and incinerated on
No, I
itself.
remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing turbines and stuff too.
Your levels aren't there.
What are you talking about? It's
You
fine,
had it way down here.
dude.
Ryan and Jeremy are sitting here trying to tell everyone and tell each other how to hold the microphone the whole time.
Okay, so anyway, back to this Hillary Clinton thing. We're getting sidetracked.
Hey, real fast.
Now, hold on, wait. There have been 30 committees that have investigated this Benghazi thing. Republican committees that want to set Hillary Clinton out to dry. They want her out. If this was really a conspiracy that you claim it is, Mike, one of those Republicans would come forward and say, "Hey, listen."
Please don't use my first name.
Okay,
I'm just joking.
Okay, Miguel. Okay, one of these Republicans would have came forward and hang her out to dry because they would love something like that. If they're trying as hard as they can, the Republican Party is trying as hard as they can to discredit her, so that she doesn't become president. Mm-hmm. Does that mean they're not going to? If they knew that this was a conspiracy, they're not going to use it?
See, I think
they're
it goes
involved in
deeper
government
than
at the highest levels. They're in Senate. They're in the
I think
Congress.
It goes deeper. Like
It doesn't. They hate Hillary Clinton. They want to keep the presidency,
You're right, but
or they want the presidency back.
You're right, but it goes deeper. There's a lot of there's backroom deals. There's fucking all this shit that happens that Fox News and fucking MSNBC doesn't spew out to us. This is
I don't know.
There's a lot of shit that goes on, and it all ties back to dollars. It's all it is money.
If you can bring me some proof, an article
See,
that
and that's the
shows
problem, dude.
That is the problem, that people don't base their decisions on proof or on facts. You can read you can read some articles and with some guy's
How
opinions.
can I prove it when
and
it's all
that's fine.
classified?
How can
and
you,
they don't. The
then how do you know it
government seals
exists if you
documents.
can't prove it? That's
Huh?
like science. You can't
It's
prove
using
anything
your
in
brain.
science until you
use
prove
your
it.
brain. What's the reason? Oh, you gotta always ask yourself.
That's like somebody
what's the
saying
reason?
a man did not land on the moon. Okay, well, prove it. I can't prove it. Okay, then somebody, you have to be able to prove what you claim.
But what's the? You gotta be able to think about it from a different aspect. You gotta go in there and think, use your brain. All this shit is happening. Why can't we? Why couldn't it happen?
And I see everything that happens, and I see the reasons why things happen. I see why we're in Libya. I see why Benghazi happened.
So why are we in Libya? Why are we in
were
Syria?
there. Well, we're not in Libya right now. We had an embassy in Libya. We were helping.
Why are we in Syria?
Because Muammar Gaddafi, Assad was using chemical warfare, which we did not agree with. And so we said we were going to bomb him if you don't get rid of your chemical weapons. They got rid of their chemical weapons, but now ISIS is in Syria. So we're there fighting ISIS. We're bombing ISIS. We're not bombing Assad. We're bombing ISIS because ISIS is the biggest threat right now to the United States. The biggest foreign threat to the United States right now.
Okay,
that's why we're in Syria.
The way I look at it is it ties all the way back to the war on drugs. Okay, you got the war on drugs that's been lasting fucking 40 years almost, 35 years, okay? And now you got this war. We're not going against countries per se. We're going against insurgents now. And we're never going to be able to stop these insurgents, but we're always going to have to go to war with them because they threaten our national security. Okay? So we're always constantly going to be at war, no matter what. It's like when Barack came into power, he was like, I'm getting the troops out of Iraq. That's what I'm going to do. The second term, not the first term. But
but he stuck to a timeline that he set during his first term.
Okay.
2014, he said they'll be out.
But we're still over in the Middle East, and we just moved to a different country at this point.
No, we don't have any troops in Syria.
You're right. We don't have troops on the ground, but we're sending bombing missions.
Yeah.
We're
bombing ISIS.
We're still doing all this.
So
shit.
you suggest we don't do it?
No, I mean, see that I'm just saying on that aspect of it. Like, hey, we're still at war. He made it sound like we're coming. Okay, we're not going to go to war no more.
No, he said he was going to bring the troops home.
I don't care who you send out there, or send out there to be our president. We're always going to be going to war with someone because war creates dollars. That's all it does. It creates money, and they're greasing pockets of whoever is involved with it. That's all I'm saying. Now, should these fuckers be executed and fucking nuke it? I don't give a shit. These guys are all fucking crazy. They're all ridiculous. I should clarify that. Not all Muslims are crazy.
There you go. I was going to jump in on that.
I'm not going to say that. But these ISIS, ISIL, and fucking Al-Qaeda, which is all the same shit. It's all the same people. They just keep putting a different name on it or a different acronym on it. They're all the same people. We're constantly at war with these people because they don't follow the same rules as we do as when we're going to war. The same warfare rules. They don't do that. But getting back to the bottom of it, we put all these people in power. We are always funding these people. We're training these people.
And that's our problem because we've been doing that since Cuba. We knew since Cuba, since 1960, since we took, since before Cuba. We're going to put the guy in that was in there before Cuba, before Castro. Can't remember his name. So Batista, I think his name was. We did that. We tried to. We got involved in Vietnam. We've been doing that to fight communism since the end of World War II. That's what we do. Now, I don't think it's. I think a lot of the stuff why we're still involved in that is because of blowback that we get by meddling in these areas. But I don't think it's some conspiracy to keep the war machine going.
It all equates to money.
I think it started off as fighting communism, and then after we fought communism was dead, and then we got involved with terrorists, and then now we're fighting terrorism, and it's all blowback. If the Middle East was Africa, if we had no interest in the Middle East, if there was no oil there, we wouldn't give a shit. We let the place blow itself up.
So you agree with me that it all has to do with money?
I think part of the reason why we're in there is because of the natural resources that the whole world relies on,
which equates to money.
But that's in the name of national security and international interest that we have to protect.
I think it's
that we have to protect. Now, I don't think these wars are started because of money. I don't think these wars are started because of money. But I think these wars it's not started solely in the name of money, but it is to protect our interests as a country, to fight, to keep stability in that area. That's what
America does. They burn up everyone else's resources before we burn up our own. That's why we don't get into what we're drilling in Alaska. We stockpile everything that we drill here on our own.
Actually, not anymore. This last budget that was passed gave America the ability to trade, to import oil or to deport oil.
Okay, but where does the cheaper oil come from?
Oil is a worldwide commodity,
but it comes from we're able to get it cheaper through the Middle East, and
No,
they
we
keep
don't.
raising.
Oil is the same price everywhere. It's a natural. It's a commodity traded around the world. There's a set price right now. It's $38 for a barrel of oil.
Okay.
No matter if you get it from America, if you get it from Russia, or if you get it from Venezuela, or if you get it from here, it's $38 a barrel right now. That's what oil trades at. The world market determines the price of oil.
All right.
So it doesn't matter which country you get.
Doesn't matter where you get it. If you pump it, you sell it that much.
But you create instability in that area. What then happens? Oil prices
Oil's gonna
go
go
up,
up.
right?
Which is why, yeah. Yep.
And who's in charge of getting all that oil refining it and doing all that?
Oil corporations,
There you go. Where are they mostly based? Like?
and in a lot of America.
Okay, thank you. So there you go.
That doesn't mean the oil corporations are involved in this conspiracy to control politics. That, you know what I mean?
Okay, what?
So just because you can say that oil...
Get rid of all the oil, all right? Which would never happen because there's too much money involved in it, and we want to go with hydrogen, we want to go with solar, or anything like that. All these other.
It has to happen because oil is not a natural resource that lasts forever. We're going to run out of it someday.
Right. But they're going to milk it as long as they can, right?
The oil companies will try, yeah, but right now we have solar. Like you said, you have solar, power, wind, wave energy.
Who contributes a lot of their money to the presidency?
Everybody.
Okay.
Solar energies,
does
oil
Exxon
companies.
say?
I'm sure, yeah.
There you go. So
But you're saying there's a connection. Just because they contribute
There's
money doesn't
definitely
mean
a
they
connection.
control government. And if anything, I would say they control the Republicans more than anybody because the Republicans are the one who are anti-global warming, who say there's no connection between CO2 burning and increased temperatures in the earth. Democrats are the ones that are saying we need to do something about this. We need to reduce the emissions. We need to get off of oil, start relying so much on oil. So if there is a connection, it's not between Hillary Clinton and the oil company. It's between. It's more likely to be for somebody else.
Hillary
Paying a
Clinton.
certain amount of money to a certain party, you're going to get some leeways there with that.
Everybody does.
It's called
but
lobbying.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with solar companies. Same thing with wind companies. Go to Palm Springs, you see miles and miles of wind
But they're
turbines.
all going to get. They're nothing. Excuse me. They're a minor fraction compared to the oil company.
Well, there's limits on how much an oil company can contribute to someone's.
That we're aware of.
Okay.
No, there's a law that says you can only contribute this much money as a company towards a candidate. Yeah, you
Okay.
can get a super PAC.
So now we're getting
but a
into
super
super
PAC
PACs.
is privately funded, which was just passed because 5 years ago because of the Supreme Court's ruling that a corporation can donate as much money as they want. But that's a super PAC. Super PACs cannot be associated with candidates. There can be no coordination between a super PAC and a candidate. Candidate has no saying on what the super PAC can do with that money. But a super PAC,
Where does that money go to after it's been
it goes
raised?
towards the candidate. But there's no coordination between a candidate and the super PAC. That's illegal. If they're caught communicating, if they're caught collaborating with each other, then it's illegal and you get shut down.
So this is why I hate arguing politics, because I am on Mike's path of thinking, except for the fact that you can sit here and say, well, they contribute a whole bunch of money, but okay, trace the money to which candidate and what are their policies, what are they going for, and then you have an argument. But until you can tell me like where the money's coming from and where it's going,
And how much? Because that takes
and
a lot
how
of money
much,
to be influential.
you really can't argue the whole will they donate to? Because who are they donating to, and what is that person's policies, or what do they believe in?
There are plenty of
This is why I hate arguing politics, because I can go both sides, but until you show me facts, I can't believe anything.
exactly. And everything I base is based on. I mean, I try to base as much as I can on facts. There is no proof that there is a connection between the oil industry, politics, and war. Now, do we go to war in the Middle East to protect the United States interests because our country does rely heavily on oil? I will give you that much. And in the Middle East, that's where oil prices are set. Mainly Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the most important oil exporter in the world. Iraq and Syria, yeah, they're kind of important, but not like Saudi Arabia.
Because they play ball with us.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
No, because they have the biggest amount of reserves.
Right, and they play ball.
Well, yeah.
Why have we never invaded Saudi Arabia?
Because we have no reason to invade Saudi Arabia.
Because they play ball.
We have no reason. Saudi Arabia is a country that's profitable and they're mainly peaceful. There's no problems. ISIS is not in Saudi Arabia. That's why we don't go there. We went to the Middle East this last time because of 9/11, and really just because 9/11. Wasn't for 9/11, we would not even be there right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we went. We were attacked, and then we got involved in the Middle East because of that, as a response to that attack. We didn't go because Al-Qaeda's been there since the 80s. That's not why we went to to Iraq because Al Qaeda was there. Well, that is why we went there, but it's not. They've been there forever. 9/11 happened. We went to the Middle East to kick some ass, but in doing so, we threw the whole area out of sync.
The way you talk, though, it's almost like corruption's not going to enter the government.
No, there is. I'm sure there is corruption in the government, but it's not as deep as you guys assume. It's not. This is not House of Cards. We cannot have a government like House of Cards. Things won't operate that way. And plus, there's always other people that are looking to take your spot or looking to get you out because you're their competition. Or
House of Cards, dude, all day.
No. So if it was that deep, you'd be exposed left and right. And remember, these are the way our government is set up is to have normal citizens go and join politics. I'm sure people who go into politics are going to say, hey, listen, if they don't like what they see, they're going to blow the whistle on it, just like they do in corporations or just like they do in the Army. They'll blow the whistle on something if it's that bad. Now, is there intermingling of people and corporations? Yeah, that's what you have lobbyists for. I think lobbyists should not be able to have as much power as they do. But that does happen. But to say that, hey, this oil company wants to go to Iraq to go take over the oil so we can reduce it, I don't think there's no way it's that deep.
Do you agree that money buys presidency?
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, lobbyists are going to have. They have a general. They're teaming up essentially with that presidential candidate for a favor. I'm going to give you so much money, but you're going to make sure that you help me out when other things come and rise. Like I want to drill over here or whatever
stuff that you can put in stuff that you can write in the policy. Hey, listen, I want to open up, the oil shells in fucking Antarctica or whatever.
Right.
Okay, cool. That's policy. But to say war, to think that war is involved in that, I don't think so. That's where there's a line. And if a politician crosses that line, the American people are not going to like that. Everybody knows, most people know that there are favors that are done for people who donate a lot of money. Hey, listen, I'm an oil company. Right now I can't drill in Yellowstone. If I give you this much money, can you open that up? Okay, yeah. How much money are we talking? I'm sure that happens the minority of the time. But to say that that's how our government runs and operates completely, there's no way. And I refuse to believe that because that means our system is completely broken. That means
I think it is broken. It's been broken.
I don't think
it's
completely broken. I think it's still salvable. You can still save it. But to say that that's how it operates,
these Clintons and Bushes out of the fucking presidential race.
It's not even that. You got to get the lobbyists and you got to get the special interest money out of the races. Because you can still be a Clinton and a Bush and have a reasonable expectation on how you want to run the country and what you want to shoot for.
Beer?
I'm good.
Modern times.
But to say, and I'm good. I'm getting another cup of coffee. Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now. But to say that our government operates that way more often than not would mean that what's the point? What's the point? I'm good. It's like, what's the point of having our system? It means our system is completely broken, and it's time to switch from capitalism to another one because capitalism doesn't work anymore. That's what I believe. If you think corruption is that deep, then why even go out and vote?
Have you heard of a dude called Peter Schiff?
No.
I heard him on Joe Rogan once.
Yeah, let's pause real fast just so we can get some coffee real quick.
All right.
Brief coffee
more
break.
coffee. So I was saying, I asked you if you knew who Peter Schiff was. He's an economist, if I remember right. But he was talking about how he would prefer it if we had just like a straight free market, like take all the regulations off, like pretty much like the FDA wouldn't exist, things like that, and that just let the free market run.
We tried that; didn't work out too well for us.
Well, because his thing was like, then we would really start, you'd really start seeing Americans like choose with or vote with their dollars at that point. Because if someone puts out a product, everything's gonna be unregulated and it has no reputation, then boom, it starts killing people. Nobody's gonna buy that product. But then you have to find out the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. That's like before the EPA, you had a lot of American companies that were throwing their waste into rivers and lakes and polluting fresh water. And look at LA. And look at LA 20 years ago. You drive up to LA and you see the big old thing of black smog everywhere. Look at China right now. Some parts of China you can't even go outside because it's so dense and with pollution because there's no regulation in there. I think regulation is important. You have to have regulation because if not, the companies, the corporations, whatever people call them evil corporations. I don't think they're evil. They're trying to maximize profit, which is the whole point of capitalism, which is why government should get involved to regulate them. Say, listen.
But I think government gets influenced by the dollar that they are making. let certain things go.
Well,
go
the
through.
government doesn't make dollars unless corporations make dollars, because all our dollars come from taxes.
Right.
So when a corporation makes dollars, it's profitable for us. So if we regulate a corporation, we're also regulating ourselves in terms of how much tax dollars we can bring in, because we're saying, listen, I know you're producing a lot of stuff, but there's some bad shit going on from what you're doing, so we got to regulate that a little bit. Yeah, I know it's going to be maybe a little bit less profits, or it's going to cost you a little money to set it up initially. And that's fine, because that affects our dollar too. So I think when you regulate a corporation, you're doing it for the good of just the good of it, not for the money part of it.
I have a quick question for you. I kind of a little off topic now. Going to Obama, I was wondering, because I feel like you're such a strong supporter of Obama, like you don't disagree with anything he says.
I agree with some stuff he says, but I think everything he does, in my opinion, when I look at the facts, I look at why he does it and what's going on with it, I think he, for the most part, the dollar decisions he's made have been pretty good ones.
Like how he kind of instigates stuff, like with like the whole Ferguson thing, like the Trayvon Martin. Like he puts in his opinion where it shouldn't be before the like I did that big old controversy with the FBI. Like he puts in his 2 cents before the investigation's done, and it caused more controversy.
I think he's our first black president. He's half black. Our first African American president. So he has
first half white president.
Half white president too. Yeah. So he has a different perspective on a lot of people, on a lot of things that presidents before him have. They can't relate to that black strife, that black struggle. Look throughout look throughout history.
That's
I know. So let me finish. So look at all the events throughout history that's been going on. When something like that, when something in Ferguson happened or Trayvon Martin happened, there is a tone amongst the black community that this happens too often. Okay, most of these guys, if they weren't resisting arrest, they wouldn't have been fucking shot in the first place. But regardless, if the ones that get shot for no reason, remember that guy? It was a caught on cell phone video.
Mr.
That was running away
the
from
dude that
from
was
the police officer
in North Carolina, right?
In North Carolina, and he got shot in the back like 6 times.
Oh, that dude, that
that
police
was in
officer
LA.
needs a
No, that was in North Carolina. Yeah.
You're
And
talking about
this,
the recent one, the Mexican guy.
No, that was another one. This is North Carolina. Some guy was running away from the cops.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Got
Yeah,
shot.
And he got shot in the back.
He was running from the cops.
The cop said he was resisting arrest. He reached for his gun.
Bullshit.
Which is bullshit. Now, that's just ones that we caught. I'm sure stuff like that happens more often than not in the black community, and they're tired of it. So when stuff like this happens, as the first black American president, he has an opinion on it. And I think he comes out with the opinion. I think he wants the black community to understand that he recognizes this is going on, that there's something going on. It's not good. And I think that's kind of his attempt to say, hey, don't riot, because that's what happens sometimes when a group of people are being abused like that. There's riots that happen. So he's trying to say, listen, don't riot. He's trying to say his 2 cents. Listen, this could have been my kid too. I understand where you guys are coming from. Let the system, do its thing and investigate. I'm sending Eric Holder, the top attorney in the United States, who's also black. Don't worry. So your concerns are going to be heard.
But as the world leader, you shouldn't be putting in your 2 cents like that until the investigation's done, because it's going to cause people, right? Because you got ignorant people that don't understand what he's trying to do, like the big picture, like you're seeing.
Right.
Most ignorant people don't see that.
Well, what is he doing though to throw gas in the fire though?
Because he's putting on like basically like you said, like
this is wrong.
I'm aware this is happening. This is wrong. We need to investigate. But all they hear is, that's right, we need to stand up, we need to fight, and then they're going out rioting in the streets.
I don't see that. He's not saying to stand up and fight. He's saying he's telling people.
But he's insinuating
with the parents. No, with the parents too. He said, listen, the parents, Trayvon's parents, and myself don't want to see any violence come out of this. Please just let the system, do its thing, and we'll investigate this.
It doesn't.
There's a black man in charge right now. Don't worry. I understand. I'm going to look into it. That's kind of like what it is. Like,
that's
hey, don't worry.
You take it because you're educated, though. But I'm saying everybody else doesn't take it that way. Or like, for instance, with the Hillary. Going back to Hillary Clinton, he spoke out, and FBI, I don't know if you read about that, FBI was furious with President.
Spoke about what, the emails?
No, he spoke out about the email scandal, that he doesn't feel that Hillary did anything wrong, but that he made a public announcement, and they were furious about it.
Yeah, I can care less about that.
But I'm saying,
how does that affect my life? How does that affect policy?
I'm saying, though, that
but it can.
As a leader, you shouldn't speak out. You should wait till the investigation's done,
and
then speak your opinion. He's doing it beforehand, which made FBI just absolutely furious, and they were.
And it makes them uncredible.
I think a lot of times in the press room, when you're asked a question, you respond to it. You know, if you're asked a question, you respond to it.
Well, that's a stupid president.
But as of right now, though, the evidence hasn't been gathered, so I can't answer your question.
Exactly. There you go.
Something like
It's just like any
that would be the right question to not cause controversy.
Any DA, any cop, anyone, something's going on. It's like, you know what? Hasn't been taken to trial yet. I can't comment on it. And then when it's done, you know what? I'll give you my opinion on it, and I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
That's stupid. You're using your platform at that point to get out your view, and that's not not right.
To me, that's minor. I can care less about that kind of stuff. That doesn't affect.
But he caused all the hatred towards cops. Now
he didn't cause hatred towards cops.
Dude, yes, he did.
Before this happened, these groups still hated cops because that was stuff kind of was going on. To say that his statement is the sole purpose why these people hate cops.
I'm not saying
not true.
No,
you're right.
You can't.
But that's what he just said right now. He just said he caused the hatred towards cops.
You're taking it, making it like very literal at this point. All right.
All I'm saying,
he's influenced.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Influence.
He's influence. He's never said anything negative about cops. He's praised cops.
It's influence.
He does not say anything negative. Now some people say it's what he does not say.
No, how did he influence? I'm confused.
All right, so
because I don't know what you guys are saying right now, because I don't see that at all.
When he speaks out about Ferguson and all these, these wrongful police shootings, when he's giving his opinion, he's letting it be known that there is an issue. Which granted, there is an issue. I get that, but I'm saying he gets these people, like ignorant people, that pull out their cell phone and that are antagonizing and just But they're hating. I
think that would happen regardless of who's who's president.
It doesn't matter. That's going to happen, and it doesn't matter what he says. It's going to get hated on by a different group if he says the opposite.
It holds a lot more water if the president is saying it.
Saying what? He's not saying anything.
He didn't say anything. The only thing I think he said wrong with the Ferguson thing, or Trayvon Martin, whichever one it was, is by him saying that I understand it could have been my son because that's a lot of crap. Son, it would never have been his.
If I had a son, that's what he would have looked like.
He doesn't know. He would never live in that neighborhood, so he doesn't know what they feel or understand.
What you mean though
that's
is
the only thing he said wrong. But what he meant by it was, I'm also black. I get it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't see what he said wrong. If it caused an uproar, it caused an uproar. I mean, I would rather have a president that says what's on his mind than fucking says what a politician would say.
That's bullshit because you can't do that to our nation because you don't have everyone that's on the same intellectual level as us or as you or as maybe more of the middle class.
But what is he doing? What is he doing though? You say he can't do that. What can he not do?
Okay, you know what he can do?
Say his opinion when facts haven't came out yet.
He's still a citizen of the United States. He's still entitled to an opinion.
Yeah,
he's still covered by the First Amendment. He does have a platform.
No one gives a shit what I say. They give a shit what he says.
What did he say though? That's bad. He didn't say anything. He hasn't said anything bad.
He just told you what he said. But when
you don't think the Hillary Clinton thing was wrong when he came out and said it? Why was the FBI so furious?
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either, so I don't know.
I don't know what he said or what was. I don't know what the situation was. I don't know what was going on with the FBI. So you might be 100% right on that. I don't know.
But what I was getting at more is if he would have came out, say this Trayvon Martin, say fucking Ferguson, whatever, you come out and you say, you know what, we have good people that are taking care of this situation, and I have the utmost respect for law enforcement, and I think law enforcement is and they're gonna do their job the way that they're supposed to. Okay, now that's what you say something like that. You don't give your opinion based on my race. You don't give that.
He doesn't give opinions though. That's pretty much what he comes out and says. Say we gotta look at the facts. We gotta see what's going on here. I got the top attorney on it right now. This is being looked into. He never gives an opinion. Oh, yeah, these guys fucked up. He doesn't say anything like that. He's never like, oh, these guys shot someone in the back.
That could have been my kid?
No, he said, if I had a son, that's what he would have looked like.
Yeah. It's not even...
Okay, but still, you're making it a black and white issue.
It is a black and white issue.
But you're making it personal at that point.
But
it probably is personal for him because he's a black American. None of us here are black.
He's a white American, too.
He's a white American, too, but he's treated like a black American.
But I'm saying the facts weren't out yet. When you said that, you're making it so personal as a president. You can't come on and say that until facts have been done. There's
nothing he come on and say. He just said if I had a son, he looked like Trayvon Martin.
What
does that do?
But read in between
what
the
does
lines.
That do?
Read in between the lines.
Personal for him. That's what I don't understand.
I'm saying as a leader, I don't think you can make it personal. I think you need to wait, and you're going to cause havoc at that point.
How does saying that cause havoc though? What is that going to trigger amongst? I know you say okay, people might not understand it like we do.
Because the way it's taken as a leader is basically like our system is broken. Something needs to be done. Which I get that. some designated to do that, but how the lower class takes it is like, yeah, let's go riot in the streets.
I don't think that's how if they're going to riot, they're going to riot regardless of what
how about
President
the
Obama
Ferguson
says.
thing, though? All right, for instance, like that was for. I feel like for him coming out and speaking on topics like that, I feel like that causes is more controversy.
No, I think it brings it to the forefront and takes it for what it is. This is the first president to ever recognize race relations and some of the problems amongst race relations in this country. To say there is not a problem with race relations in this country is being blindfolded and lying to yourself.
But I'm saying
We're not saying that there's not a problem. There's definitely a problem.
Speaking before facts have came out, I think is wrong.
But he doesn't come out and say it's false facts. He doesn't come out and tell you this is what happened. He's just coming out and saying, listen, we're looking into it. This is what happens. Da-da-da-da. Please don't riot. I'm talking to the district attorneys. I'm talking to these people. We're going to investigate it. Really calm down.
That's what transparency is. Like, this is one of those times I 100% agree with Aurelio, because I don't want my president coming out and saying, they're looking into it, we're investigating. No, tell me what the fuck is going on. And that's cool that he came out and was like, yeah, there's a real problem here, because there fucking is a problem. Like, to say there's not a problem is crazy. So, I mean, how can you not
I guess,
want transparency?
Not with the
I think
Ferguson
amongst
thing.
the black community,
With the Ferguson
I
thing,
guess
though, he
there's-
was saying this is happening too often.
it has been happening too often.
Yeah, but the Ferguson thing, that guy deserved to get shot.
That what pissed me off is that's not a case that should have been highlighted. There's 100
no.
other cases
And that's
that
exactly-
happened that month that should have been
And
highlighted.
that's not the fault of the president. That's the fault of the media. The media the media puts this one case on over and over and over and over. It starts to boil in the minority communities, and then it's forced to be. It has to be addressed because it's going to spill over. That's when he comes to steps. He doesn't just come in. If the media doesn't cover it, it's not going to be covered. Right. But if that's all you see, cops killing black people, cops killing black people, cops killing black people, it has to be addressed at some point because the black people are like, fucking cops are killing us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think it's his fault. It's the media's fault that forces him to come out and say, hey, listen, black people, relax. Don't riot. I got to come up. We're investigating it. I understand. I hear you.
All right, so maybe you guys are right. I'm just mad at the certain cases that are being highlighted. The first one was a joke. The one where the guy got shot in the back, like, yeah, okay, that was a real issue. And there's a lot more, 100 other issues. But the Ferguson one's a joke.
Yeah, that's
cool.
what that was so many people came out and said this is the wrong thing to be highlighting.
Yeah.
We're highlighting the wrong case.
Yeah, because the guy he just robbed a fucking liquor store right before he got shot.
And he was physically assaulting the cop that shot him.
Yeah, if you
fuck that guy.
If you're wrestling against with the cops, I think you deserve to get shot. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion.
Yeah,
Don't
if
fucking
you're
read that.
resisting, yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
you
you're
want to
being an
run? That's
asshole.
fine. Run your fucking ass off. That's cool. But if you're wrestling with the cop, then that's what you
There
get.
was one video I just watched at the trolley station. The guy was resisting arrest, and people were fucking screaming at the cop. And he was afraid to go after the guy. He sat there and waited for backup, and the guy was pushing the cop off him. He had to wait for backup to come, so there's other witnesses and stuff. He was so afraid to go after the guy. The guy was physically assaulting the officer. He wouldn't touch him because people were raising, "You're beating him," fucking assault. It was like, oh god, shut up.
Yeah. Well, I just don't understand. Is like, why is it always such a big? Well, all right, I do understand why it is it's always a big issue between black and white cops. All right, I get that, but you know what?
Hold on.
I don't think so.
You're talking about a black officer and a white officer?
No. If there is a black criminal, civilian, whatever, who did anything wrong, who's getting approached by the cops. All right. When I'm totally getting off of that now. What one of my brother-in-law's brother was shot and killed by San Diego PD, and multiple. I mean, these guys at all angles shot and killed him, and it was right there, plain as day on YouTube, on video, has it right there that this guy was shot. There was no. The guy didn't point a weapon. There was no weapon with him. Nothing. San Diego PD just shot and killed him. Mexican guy. All right. None of this gets brought up nowhere. You don't see it anywhere. Yeah, was the guy running from the cops? Yeah, he was driving. He wasn't. Where
was he shot? What were the circumstances surrounding the shooting?
He was coming to a stop, and there is one cop right in front, and it's all broadcast over Channel 10 News, ABC, over here in San Diego, and cops just open fire on him. There was no gun, nothing. No one ever saw a gun, nothing. But he shot
that
and
car
killed.
could be used as a weapon if he was headed
his
toward the
tires were
cop.
flat. He was coming to a stop. He actually stopped. And next thing you know, crack. Everyone is just putting bullets into him at that point. and no one says shit. And it's okay. Nothing ever happened. No one ever. And the media doesn't portray anything that these cops acted. They didn't do it right. Whatever. But he gets shot. And nothing comes up.
I think if there really was a situation where the guy was unjustly shot, the news would have played that over and over and over.
They did. They played it over and over, but still, nothing took. Nothing went after it, and because
so the public sentiment was probably he deserved to get shot.
Not, or it's just not a big deal.
It all depends on timing. Everything is on fucking timing. Why is it that the Ferguson case was highlighted? It was just the right timing. That's all it is. Is this the right amount of people happen to gravitate towards it at the right time, and then fucking it went giant for whatever reason. It's all timing.
And to be honest, in San Diego, we really don't have a race relation problem. I mean, there's some race issues probably, but it's not like the South. Well, we don't have a big racist police force that abuse Mexican American. Our African American population is so small.
How do you shoot an unarmed guy?
He's in a car, so maybe he was. I mean, I haven't seen the video. I mean, if I saw the video, I could say, "Oh yeah, this is justified."
I'll tell you right now. He was stopped. Everything came to a stop. One officer shot, and then all the other officers followed in after it. Because if that guy shot, there must be a reason. Pop, pop, pop,
yeah,
pop.
yeah, that's pretty much how it operates.
I probably had more training than your average cop did.
I bet you did.
And that's just standard. Like law enforcement is undertrained, 100%.
So that first shot, why was it fired? That's what I would have to know.
Well, no, we'll see. But when you're in that situation, and this all goes back to the fucking war on drugs. I can relate everything to the fucking war on drugs because that's what created the us versus them.
I'm pointing at Jeremy right now because I love what he has to say.
No, it's it's us versus them now with the cops. That's what created that mentality. And now because of that developed the militarization of the police. Mm-hmm. And we don't have real police anymore. We have like military that roll through our streets.
No.
What's that guy? Wood something? The officer who's speaks out now. What's his name? Something Wood, who speaks out against police now about how the war on drugs is just totally.
Oh, I've heard a few different ex-cops talk about it.
The fucking, what I'm talking about? He's been on Joe Rogan. Something Wood.
Anyways, I don't know what guy. I've heard. Like I said, I've heard a few different ex-cops that are like.
You know the fuck I'm talking about. That's what you're referring to.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but anyway, so...
No, I had a reason to relate that to war on drugs. Oh, no. And it's all then we have this fucking lack of training. And I can tell you from being in the military that if you're in that high stress situation where adrenaline's pumping and like you have no idea what that guy's about to do, and then fucking you hear a gunshot.
Oh yeah, the New York boom. Yeah, everybody does it
because everybody's under fucking trained in its stress management.
Yeah, Michael Wood. He talks about how
Michael Wood.
Law enforcement in general is horrible. Like,
was that the cop in Baltimore?
Yeah.
All right.
You got to go through your like gun training, especially. He goes, cops don't know dick shit about shooting. He's like, it's horrible.
Most cops don't shoot people. Most cops don't use their guns. But you can go 30 years as a cop and never fire your gun once.
Well, the problem is that after your academy, there's no more training unless you do it yourself.
6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks isn't enough to.
As a responsible
6 week academy.
Yeah,
that's not enough to.
And I've heard Joe Rogan say it several times, and I agree with him 100%, that I don't think anybody's qualified to be a cop. I mean, the decisions they have to make are insane.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, that's one of the toughest professions you can do, especially, in New Orleans or in a city where, your life is really, you don't know if you're making home every day. I would never want to be a cop just for that. And then you get this mentality, too, as a cop, because all you deal with is the bottom of the barrel kind of people.
Deal with the shit every day.
Yeah, you deal with the shit every day, so you're going to get this mentality about people all the time.
Us versus them.
Yeah, that becomes hard. It's hard to be a cop, but... Why are we talking about shooting?
Cops are terrified though of actually using their gun now because of all the shit that's going on. They're afraid of going to jail.
Well, most cops don't use their guns though. So most cops don't have situations where they have to use their gun more than once.
I don't remember where the video took place. I just watched this last Wednesday. It was a recent video that just came out. A cop was being charged with a knife and he kept backing up. Please stop.
Oh, that was in London.
Yeah, and then fucking cop ended up opening fire on him. Was sure it was in London?
Oh,
no,
it
was in the States,
dude.
was
in London.
No, it was in
the States. I was thinking of another one.
They don't even carry a gun.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of another one. The guy was getting charged with a knife, and he was like, the guy's like, shoot me!
This just happened. The guy was like, charging, he kept telling drop it. But I mean, he backed up like a quarter of a block before he finally laid into the guy. He's been charged with a knife and was terrified to use his weapon.
Well, it's just like even our...
He wasn't terrified to use a weapon. He just didn't want to kill the guy. I don't think that's... him being terrified of using a weapon. He's like, hey, listen, there's probably if I get this guy to drop the gun, I want to kill him. That's probably what it is more than anything.
I think it's afraid that cops
Well,
are.
what would you do? Like,
I'd shoot him.
I've talked to multiple cops. I have friends that are cops and everything, and their main thing that they say is like, you know what? I go home. I'm going home.
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm going home. I'm not gonna fucking die.
I'm not gonna die.
I'm gonna do what I have to do to go home to my kids and my wife.
Exactly. Yeah, and I totally agree with that, but. Not to say that there's some stupid fucking cops out there that have no common sense, and they spoil it for everyone else.
The majority of police officers are good people.
Very good people.
About 10% of them are the ones that ruin it for everybody else, and that's the 10% that we're talking about when we talk about these shootings. They give other cops a bad name.
Yep.
All right, my argument though, like basically when I'm talking about just like how it's cops are under constant scrutiny over like black shootings and all that. What about Mexicans? Mexicans are constantly profiled. Mm-hmm. Constantly.
Yeah.
You know, if I was a cop, I'd racial profile the shit out of you,
There's too
Aurelio.
many of them. That's why.
No, all right, like for instance, all right,
I just want to say I did not say that. That was Jeremy.
you met my buddy Caesar.
Joke.
Which one?
You know my buddy Caesar?
Yeah.
So he was at a bar like I was like a year ago, and this fucking white dude came up and just socked him right in the face, like totally assaulted him. Well, police were called and everything, and he wanted to file what's it called
Report. Press charges.
Yeah, press charges against the guy. The cop wouldn't do it because you've seen Caesar. Like it's easy to profile him.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a big Ted and that's what sucks. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's just. I think it's just an issue with law enforcement in general. I don't think it's just focused mainly on all black people. Like in general,
it's
it's
us versus them.
Well, it depends
Yeah, exactly.
on. I mean,
But I'm saying-
it all depends on
but
where
I'm
you
saying
work
in
at.
general-
You know, you
in
work in Los
general-
Angeles, then it's gonna be a problem with Mexicans.
But
You
I
work
think
in
it's
the
a lack
South.
of, but I'm saying I think it's a lack of training in general. Like you can't help but profile, and I think that needs to be kind of brought out of.
I think to be honest, even with training, the training only does. It's like teaching. I went through a 2-year teaching program. Half the shit you learn in that teaching program goes out the window as soon as you step foot into the classroom.
Yeah, you still have to have common sense.
It's once you're in the classroom, you find out what works. You find out what you can do. You find out stuff like that. Same thing with being a cop. Half of your experiences and half of most of the stuff that you do is based off of experience. I remember last time I dealt with this. If you're dealing with Mexicans all the time and they're legitimate bad people, then you're probably gonna start stereotyping some Mexicans. After a while, you're like, fuck, look at this guy. He looks like the guy just arrested last week. Look at that guy. He's like the guy that's assaulted the person last week. Look at this guy. He's like the guy that beat up his wife last week.
It also depends on
That's
your
what I'm
area.
saying.
I think that's just
That
human
needs to be
nature.
branded out of you. That's what I'm saying. I think
it's branded in you. It's gonna be hard to get branded.
It's the repetition. It's habit.
Yeah.
It's a form of habit.
By no means am I comparing my professional experience to being a cop, but I was an undercover security back in my day.
Undercover.
Yeah.
He was a security guard at Food for Less.
No, I was undercover security at Target and Sears.
Shoplifting.
But no, dude, I worked on
Securitas.
No, it wasn't that. I worked at Target off of Broadway and Palomar down here in Chula Vista, right? So
I know exactly where
when
that's at.
I first started dating my wife is Mexican at that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, go
She's
Mexican.
not Mexican anymore?
No,
She
well,
was Mexican, huh?
When I first started
no,
dating her, she was
she
Mexican.
assumed my last name, so now she's white. So so I was going. I was doing undercover security there, and I'm sorry, the majority of people that steal from there are Mexican.
Hold on a second, though. Chula Vista is a Mexican neighborhood.
Well, there you go.
It's
But
90
especially
it's
Broadway
90
and Palomar.
90%. Yeah, I grew up in Chula Vista. I got
I
a Chula
know.
Vista tattoo here on my
I
arm.
know. Broadway and Palomar.
That's a Mexican area. So
and
the
that's
people
a
that
shitty area.
the people that
too.
are hey.
It is.
He's all
It's a
right
shitty
there.
area, though. Would you live there? Would you live there right now?
I do live there right now. Well, not Broadway.
No, you don't.
Not Broadway and Palomar. I live on F and Second, so I'm not far.
Yeah, but that's a ways away.
That's
all
a
right,
quarter mile
that's
from there.
further. Okay, you're
Anything-
further north of where I'm
anything
at.
along Broadway, you don't want to. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Anything on Broadway. Okay.
Anything
So,
around Broadway is
so
like
her
3 block
family,
radius.
her family hit me up. And, I just started dating my wife, and they're like, oh. So what do? Do you just
Look at Mike's
follow?
face when he does a Mexican accent.
There's no accent. It's just his face is just changing.
Hey, because I'm angry. Hey, I'm portraying my wife's family. No, but they look at me and they go, "So do you just follow Mexicans?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
That's all it is, then.
they're like, they looked at me with this crazy look like I'm a fucking racist. I'm like, you do understand that 95% of the people that go in there are fucking Mexican. The other 5% are black.
Well, one of my best friends, David, he's a border patrol agent.
Yeah.
He's Mexican, grew up in Chula Vista. And
Does his last name start with A?
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right.
Your comments, I like it.
But he's a border agent, and all he deals with is Mexican. So when we talk about immigration stuff, of course he has a biased view because he deals with all the trash.
Right.
That's crossing the border. Not trash, because not all of them are trash, but he's constantly busting drugs all the time. Every time he'll send me a picture of a lot of busts he does. Like, look at this truck we got full of fucking 500 pounds of fucking weed. It's like, that's what he deals with. So of course his ideas are going to be skewed, towards his experience. And so bottom line of all this was saying that is that our experience and what happens to us is what we base our decisions on.
You dictate your opinion on that.
Yeah. So if you're a cop and you deal with bald-headed Mexicans all the time, when you see a bald-headed Mexican with tattoos, you're like, hey, this is fucking guy right here.
Yeah.
If you deal with, black thugs all the time, and you see a black thug that looks like a black thug, like, look at this guy.
The reason why I state that, though, because a lot of the guys that I work with look like thugs, dude, and they're the fucking nicest guys.
Yeah, and that's where I'm gonna jump in right there. You being a cop, you need to realize the situation. You need to assess the situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna pull that guy over, right? For looking the way that Aurelio looks. Okay.
Well, that's illegal. That's illegal to do.
Hey,
you can't just pull him over for that.
No. But
the initial.
But you gotta understand the two. But a cop can pull you over for anything. They can find anything in that vehicle code, right? But the main reason when they do, if they're stereotyping, I'm like, hey, you know what? This motherfucker may have drugs in the car.
I even learned that in my criminal justice class, dude. The teacher was like telling us about 90% of the stops. It was crazy. I couldn't believe he was admitting that.
That's just what you do. You got
the bald guy, the old bald guy who was a La Mesa police. He was ex La Mesa police.
He was a white guy. He was a captain. I don't know what I was saying.
Ex La Mesa police.
Hey, from Southwestern or where?
No, Grossmont, right? I think I had the same guy.
He was a captain up here in
First name Paul.
On Alpine. Okay, I might have a different guy. I think mine was from La Mesa.
But anyway, like you see someone that fits that stereotype rolling down the street, and you're like, fuck, what can I pull him over? What's my PC? All right, good. I got him. I'm going to pull him over. I'm going to see what's up. Now it's at that cop's discretion at that point. You need to figure out, like, hey, is this guy really is he doing dirt? Or is he riding dirty? Or is he just, he just may look like something?
Now, I would say you can't pull somebody over by how they look. And if I ever I haven't been pulled over in years, but
they find something.
So I'm going to go a little bit further than that. I'm going to say, or not as far, I guess I had to say, when you pull somebody over for legitimate reasons, then that's when you stereotype. Like, okay, who do I have here? Oh, okay, it's a bald-headed Mexican. Or, it's a black guy with tattoos. Or,
Guarantee you it doesn't work that way,
Middle
buddy.
Eastern guy, you know what I'm saying? That's when you're like, all right, I'm going to treat this guy as dangerous. Always treat him as if they're dangerous at first. And then through interaction, it's like, okay, this guy's okay. I tell you what, I'm going to let you go. There's a thing I read on Facebook, a black guy with a gun in Arizona. He had a carry permit on him. He posted a story on Facebook. I don't know if it's real or not.
Guy that was tackled?
No. He was pulled over by a police officer in Arizona. Cop said, hey, talked a little bit, and he's off. Because this is the time everyone was talking about how they're being stereotyped and how they're being mistreated. And this is a good story. He said, hey, I just want to share this with everybody. I'm a black man. I have a permit to carry.
I read that same one.
And he said, I was pulled over. I kept my hands on the wheel. Cop came to my window, gave him my license registration. Said, how you doing, officer? I wasn't mean. I didn't cuss at him. I didn't accuse him of anything. I told him that I have a concealed weapon on my hip. He asked me to step out slowly. I kept my hands up. He took the gun out. Blah, blah, blah. Ran my license. I was fine. He didn't write me a ticket. He said, since you've been so respectful and you've been up front, I'm going to let you go with the warning, get this fixed or whatever, and then let me go. And not all cops are assholes.
Right.
That's pretty much his story. Have you guys ever seen that Chris Rock video? It says how not to get your ass kicked by the police.
Yeah, that shows.
Seen that one? I love that. It says like rule 1: when you get pulled over, be respectful. And they show like a nice looking black guy with. He's like, how you doing, officer? Can I help you? He goes, don't be like this. What the fuck, nigga? Why'd you pull me over for? I didn't do nothing. He's like, rule number 2.
Chris Rock,
yeah, keep your hands where they can see them. Don't go like this. And then show them they're doing like all the wrong things. Going on, like, and that's the truth though.
Yeah.
Most police officers, when you get pulled over, if you're respectful, if you do what they ask you to do, 99% of them are going to treat you fine. They'll have you on your way.
You're going to avoid the confrontation.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you when it comes to the area because I have one of my employees. He grew up in L.A. and he talks about. He goes, dude. He goes. I will agree to a certain extent. He grew up in L.A. in the early '80s. I mean, when racism
that's
was
when the
big,
thing was back. Yeah,
cops beating the shit out of
a
you.
different
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And he was telling me, he's like, I don't believe all these things that you read online. He's like, if you pull over, how you doing, officer? How's your day going? But if you why the fuck you pulling me over? He goes, which 90% of these guys are doing. That's what he was talking about. He goes,
Yeah.
But when I grew up in L.A., I was getting my ass beat all the time by cops. He's like, but that was a different era. He's like, it doesn't happen like that anymore. He goes, all these videos you see online, what were they doing before the cameras came on?
Yeah, exactly.
That was sitting there pissing. He's like, granted, the officers went too far, but what were they doing to piss off or provoke them to get to that level?
That's like
Which still they should be trained to not get upset the way they do.
But then here's the thing. So back to the black community,
of course,
though.
but
that still goes on. When that thing in Ferguson happened, when they did the investigation of the Ferguson Police Department, they said that they found that department was a racist department. They were writing tickets to black people 3 times as many tickets than normal than any other police department.
Oh yeah,
they were sending them to court. They were getting ticketed. Pretty much what was going on was the police department were writing these tickets so they can fund their police department to these black people who were pulling over, and sometimes they weren't legitimate.
Yeah, Michael Wood talks about that. He talks about how it goes way back to where they actually took time to segregate, like to get all like the black community in one area, like the low income, and like they were all segregated and they were all targeted, like where they had no means other than to like basically sell drugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Michael Atwood Michael Atwood or Michael Woods?
Michael Wood.
I thought you looked it up.
Michael Wood is what you said. You said Michael Wood.
Okay.
I believe that. You can't oppress a certain people for so long and expect 50 years is enough time for them to pull themselves out of it, without giving them any extra kind of assistance.
Well, that, and we also beat him down.
And yeah, so those two combined, it's like it's not good.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. I'm glad I live in California. And I
believe that, like,
glad I'm in San Diego.
There's a lot more bad cops than you're thinking, or just cops that have bad attitude.
There could be dick cops,
because
but I mean a bad cop though.
I think you have to have more interaction, because I've had a lot of interaction with police because I get pulled over a lot. No reason for that. No, and generally I just try to like keep I try to not say anything, because I don't want to like if I want to go fight the ticket, I want to have to incriminate myself.
Yeah.
So I just try to not say anything at all, and 50% of the time the cop has a shitty attitude and is being a dickhead. Like I don't understand it. Like I'll just be quiet and just try not to say anything. Just like, hey, how you doing? I pulled you over. Can you tell me why you pulled me over?
99% of the time though, you come off like an asshole. If I didn't know you, I'd think.
Yeah.
Anymore, like I know I'm not getting out of a ticket. Like I've never gotten pulled over for speeding and driven away with a warning.
The nicest I've ever seen you be, we got pulled over doing 110 on our bikes. That was the nicest I've ever seen you be, because I think you knew your bike was getting pounded, so you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to try to be nice, see if I can get away.
But how many times have you been with me with the ticket? Twice?
I watched you in the thing when we got pulled over on Thanksgiving. He burned out in front of the cop.
I was 18. Fuck that guy.
You ever use Mr. Ticket?
Huh?
Mr. Ticket?
Yeah, fuck
Mr.
that guy.
Ticket.
Do not ever use Mr.
My buddies
Ticket.
use him like 4 times.
All he does is take your money.
Hey,
No.
I'm Mr. Ticket. I've written 2 letters and gotten my tickets.
Have you really?
Yeah, I'll fucking have
I just got my
Ryan
money
write
back
my
last
letter
week.
out.
I never had a ticket since I was
Twice now.
19.
Ryan has done a
Hey.
trial by deck.
Hey, the first time we got pulled over,
I've done trial by deck 3 times. Lost all 3.
Yeah, Ryan's
well,
won them.
We were going 110. He
His
clocked us at
driving record is
103.
why.
I wrote it. And then this last time I was going to see my mom, over 100 miles an hour, wrote my ticket, and got away with
I
it.
mean, wrote your ticket.
He wrote a
written
trial by
declaration.
declaration.
What is that? What is that?
Basically, instead of showing up in court, you basically write exactly what happened, and then they compare it to the officer's notes. And
I learned from you.
So
my English teacher.
do you say you weren't going 100? You say I was only going 70 or something?
No, I just wrote a huge ass explaining in
explanation
detail
as to
what was
why.
happening,
And there's some
how I
English-
was wrongfully pulled over, just blatant lies that I learned.
I was
from you,
wrongfully
Aurelio.
pulled over because I was going 102.
No. You have to, plus, you have to add some legal shit into it.
Yeah,
like,
I looked up some legal shit.
you have to add in, like, I would like to know how the officer recorded my speed, if it was used by, the radar detector. When was the last time it was
calibrated and all
was
that
the
stuff?
officer properly trained on it?
You ever hear that physics teacher that wrote the physics explanation of why it was impossible for him to get a ticket for
I read
for
that.
speeding?
That was badass.
Oh damn! Is there a way that I
He
can
was-
get that and just copy it?
He was
and paste it?
right. He said he was coming up to a stop sign or something like that, and there was a car in front of him, and said the laws of physics says that there's no way that gun could have clocked my car because this car was in the way, and he wrote a big old mathematical proof about how it
always thought
works.
about that,
and he got
too.
his shit fucking dismissed.
I've always thought about that
I
too.
read this like I can't even
Yeah,
comprehend.
the judge is probably like,
fast.
okay, he's good.
that motherfucker who pulled you over, right? What about the guy that was going faster than you were? How do you
Just
know
happened to
that
pass me
radar
up, right?
or
Yeah.
laser didn't clock that guy and not me? Like
Well-
I was just the one that pulled over.
Well, check this out. The second one that I wrote, when I lied, like today, he clocked me, confused me for another bike. The guy pulled up next to me at 107.
Yeah.
He was
The
on
cop
his bike, and I looked at him, I was like, oh, shit, ball. So there was no way in hell like that. If he went to court, it would look ridiculous.
Thanks, ma'am, Your
I was
Honor, I was going 107 when I pulled up next
Hey,
to him.
I was tucked on my bike.
It's on
and
my
I-
GoPro, my helmet.
And I
Check it out.
see a wheel come next to me. I look over, and he's like, oh, my God, fuck. So,
Yo, damn, this was going fast.
Hey, does this guy want to race?
That's how he got cut up, though. The fucker doesn't have any rear view mirrors.
yeah, I can't see behind me. And at 107, dude, turning my head, that's like,
Yeah, hell yeah. That's funny. All right, well, I don't know, anything else you want to talk about?
What did we come up with
No,
here?
the fucking 50. I think there's a lot more shitty cops out there than you think, and because I've had cops come up and just off the bat they're being a dick, and I'm like, dude, yes, I was breaking the law. Yes, you caught me. Like, can we just be civil about this and have a civil exchange? Like, why are you being automatically a fucking cunt to me?
That's
Yeah,
why,
those are the
and
guys-
that's why I
You
don't break the
show
law.
officers like the respect, like I know an officer like you'll stay quiet and hand your shit over like you're already like pissed off being a dickhead.
I'm trying to be as civil as possible without saying anything.
But you broke the law, and that's what I'm saying. You're being like,
Well,
But those are the
I
guys
also
that-
disagree with fucking. A
dude.
lot of
But we wear our
traffic
emotions on our
laws.
sleeves. Like if we're pissed off, you can tell we're pissed off. So like, if I came up to you like, fuck you, little prick, give me your shit.
Yeah.
Like, you have.
I can see how you not saying as little as possible could be come
But
off as a
I've
dick.
done the flip side because you've been with me for 2 tickets out of the what I've had probably close to like 15.
Man, how much is your insurance?
expensive.
It's actually
as
not
fuck,
bad.
dude.
No, my insurance is for my car, just for me on my car with a $1,000 deductible, $125 a month.
What happened to 200? Wasn't it close to 200?
I switched insurances.
All right.
Damn,
At
mine's
one
107, and
at
I've had a
one
ticket on
point,
how long?
He was paying
More
more
for-
for one vehicle than I was paying for all three of mine. I had my truck and 2 cars.
Hey, when I was 20, actually up until like 5 years ago, I was paying almost $300 a month for insurance.
Damn.
He was getting a ticket. Was it 2 tickets a year? or
I
some
get
shit?
I get on average two speeding tickets a year.
See a Rick
Well, no, so
declaration.
I've tried different ways. I've tried being super nice to cops, and they still are assholes. Where I'm like, "Hey, sir, how you doing? What's going on? Sorry about that. It was my fault."
I don't buy that at all, dude. At all.
I can't even see you. I can't even see you being nice.
Because I don't think you've ever been nice to me my entire life.
You've never been nice to me.
Hey, name a time where Jeremy's been nice to you. Hey, Aurelio, it's good
Hey,
to
what's up, man? How you doing? I'm so glad you showed up. Hey,
I was
here.
being honest.
You want some money?
The first couple times Mike met you, he's like, "Hey, dude, does your brother like me?" I'm like, "That's just how he is, dude."
That's bullshit. I never said that. I
was
was
something
like, I'm
close
like,
to
dude.
it.
I said, Jeremy's super quiet. He's like, yeah, it's because he's not drunk. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, I remember a few times like Charlie's like, "Oh man, I always want to call your brother, but I'm afraid because like even sometimes talking to him in person, it's like, hey,
So,
what's up, Jeremy?"
how about those goals?
I thought Jeremy did really well when I first met him. I'm like, oh, dude, what's up? Started talking to him. I'm like, dude, yeah, listen to the podcast. And Jeremy gave me.
That's
about,
where he gets awkward. If
Jeremy-
you mention the podcast, you listen to the podcast, he's like, "Oh, you listen."
Nah.
Super awkward when people.
Nah,
bring it up.
Jeremy gave me a good about 2 minutes, and then he just like walked away. And I'm like, all right, well, Ryan, where'd you go?
I wasn't even talking, dick. Was he a cop? Is your brother a cop or something?
Hey, I've even been profiled before by cops. Walking down the street, I got pulled over.
Where were you, Santee?
No, I was in.
Lakeside.
Lakeside?
No, so I was in the ghetto in Montclair, and I was walking to pick up my car from the stereo shop because I was I'd just gotten home from Iraq, and I was wearing Dickies and a button-up Dickies shirt, and I just freshly buzzed my head.
Look like a skinhead.
Yeah, and I'm walking down the street, and I'm walking down the street, I'm just walking down the sidewalk, not doing anything. Because all I'm doing is going to pick up my car. I'm like almost in front of the stereo shop. And this fucking cop car pulls right up next to the curb. The cops hop out and they instantly just start questioning me. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you look like somebody we're looking for right now. And I was like, no, I don't.
What was it, 1994? Why were you wearing that?
Have you seen that Dave Chappelle stand-up too where he goes, I bought a police scanner.
He's a Dickies and a Dickies shirt.
Dickie pants. But that Dave Chappelle, he goes, I bought a police scanner, man. He goes, this is so I know when to go outside or not. So the day I was listening to it, it said, all right, attention all cars. We're looking for a black male between 5'1" and 5'11". He's like, no, I'm not going outside today.
Dude, Dave Chappelle, my opinion, is like the best comedian. Dude.
Fucking hilarious.
Have you seen him on Inside the Actors Studio?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite one.
Fuck that with when he does his bit on Sesame Street.
The chlamydia and the CDs ones?
It's like, fuck, man, Sesame Street is the worst. It's like that stereotype of motherfuckers like nothing. Going into, like, Oscar, you're a grouch. Hell yeah, bitch, I live in a trash can.
Dude, he's funny. I forgot about that your Dickie stage, dude. Jeremy used to wear nothing but Dickies. Big-ass Dickie pants, and then he was in the army, so he had a shaved head.
Skater shoes.
No wonder what your fucking profile, dude. What the fuck?
Increasing my Dickies.
Then you
I'll just curb somebody right now.
You gotta realize, too, most cops fucking fail community relations, that part of their
I think, too, a lot of cops are, like, people who, some of them, are like people that weren't cool in high school, and then all of a sudden they become a cop. They get like a power trip sometimes. Yep. It's like, dude, relax. What's your deal? Screech fucking, because you're a square in fucking high school, all of a sudden you think you're the shit because you're a cop?
It's the opposite of that. I think they were popular in high school and they used to bully people and they want to keep that
Could
going.
be that, too. And some cops are just good people who want to do good in the community.
Dude, I have a couple buddies that are cops that I think like I couldn't imagine on the streets because they're just total pricks. Like I think about that all the time. I'm like, dude, like you shouldn't like that right there. Just shows a broken system.
I've always tried to have like the most respect towards a cop every time I get pulled over because A, I don't want to get shot, but B, like I get pulled over. Usually, if I get pulled over, I know I'm doing something wrong. All right, like I'm not going to sit there and be like, "Oh, fuck you! You pulled me over because I was going 85."
Because I'm white.
Like what? Yeah, exactly. What am I saying? Because you pulled me over because I'm white. Then again, it's not going to happen. So every time, like I've gotten pulled over, like there's got one time right over here in Lemon Grove, got pulled over. I knew I did something wrong. I fucking crossed the trolley track, cut off a bunch of people, and just kept on going, you know? And you're supposed to stop behind the trolley tracks. I get pulled over, and I'm like, hey, officer, how you doing? He's like, he goes, yeah. So I pulled you over because of what you just did right now. And I go, you know what? I totally know. I'm in a hurry, man. I got to get to baseball practice. Like, I got to drive all the way to Chula Vista. Like, that's what's up. And he goes, you know what? No worries,
just suck
dude.
your dick to get this ticket.
He goes, you know what? No worries. I understand, but, you know, you did something wrong, so I'm just going to write you this ticket, and you got to go. I'm cool.
All right, cool.
Thanks a lot.
Do what you got to do.
Hey, man, have a good day. All right, be safe. And like, every time. Like, that's how I am.
That's pretty much how I deal with it, too.
Every time I deal with a cop, I always end it with, hey, thanks a lot, man. Be safe.
Yeah.
And that's it. When I get pulled over, I'm usually getting pulled over for a reason. There's no reason to be an asshole to them,
I remember
you know?
one time I got pulled over. I was still in college. I was living in National City. And I was taking somebody home. We were at my house drinking. We were a little faded. I was taking somebody home. I had my buddy with me. And then after I dropped them off, we were coming back. This was the time I was totally profiled because I got pulled over for no reason. I was coming back. He only lived like 5 blocks from my house. So I was coming back, going down 8th Street. I used to live on 16th. And I turned, and I'm crossing National City Boulevard, going down 8th. Crossing, whatever. I had a green light, whatever. I'm going straight. Me and my buddy's passenger seat. And I see a cop, you know, waiting at the light going the opposite direction. And then all of a sudden he turns and he starts following me. I was like, fuck, this guy's, you know, I'm being followed by a cop now. Turn left on Hoover, which is the street I lived on, Hoover and 16th. And he pulls me over. I was like, fuck, he pulled me over. I was drinking. I was faded. My buddy had an 8-ball of Coke on him. So I was like, fuck, dude, we're going to get in trouble. I had my SDSU sweater on. So he pulls me. So I pulled over. The cop comes up. He's like, what's up, man? I was like, hey, you guys doing? You know what I pulled you? I was like, what's up? What seems to be the problem? He's like, no, you pulled you. You need to tell me why you pulled me over. He just started asking questions right away. And he goes, where you going? I was like, I just dropped my friend off. They're here a couple blocks down the street. I'm going to my house, which is right there. It's literally 2 blocks down. That's my house right there. He goes, all right. And then he had a little handheld thing. What's your name? I was like, Aurelio. As far as boom, look me up. He goes, Aurelio, did they used to call you anything? I was like, yeah. What do they call you? It's like a bouncer. He's like, okay. Because it says, he says, okay. And then he asked my friend, what's your name? My friend gave him a fucking fake name. So he looks him up in the machine. All right, whatever. He goes, all right. He goes, check this out, sir. I can't remember the name he said. So you see this little thing right here? He's like, yeah. He's all I got to do is I punch your name in this, and you should pop up. And right now, nothing's popping up, which means you're giving me a fake name. So if you can tell me your real name, or I'm going to pull you out the car and we can find out the hard way. So Mike was like, all right, sorry, sir, I was nervous, da da da. So he looks him up and he says, all right, Blanco. So
he was with his white friend that time.
Right? He was Mexican. He's just light skinned. So then he goes. So he looks at me and he's like, "All right." He goes, "What do you do?" Right? I was like, "I'm a tutor. I tutor at Chula Vista High School. I go to San Diego State. This is my last year. I'm about to graduate." He goes, "All right." He goes, well, "What's up with this bouncer thing?" I was like, I was young. I was dumb. I used to hang out with the tough crowd, but now I'm going to college. I'm about to graduate. First one in my family. Blah blah blah. He was cool about it. He goes, "All right, man." He's like, "I'm gonna let you go home and stay home." I was like, all right, cool. Thanks, officer. Have a good one. Be safe. Took off. I was like, fuck, good thing they didn't search you.
Right. And
we would have been in trouble.
See, you're not going to say nothing because, he profiled the shit out of you, right?
Hoping for no reason,
but you know what? Fuck, your boy was in your car with you. Who knows what could happen after that?
Even if it wasn't with me, I would have still done the same thing because I was drinking.
No, of course.
I could have got a DUI, I don't need a DUI in my life. I was like, fuck.
No, it is. I think it really comes out to how you address the cops and how you talk to the cops. If you come off being an asshole, then what do you think you're going to get? You're going to treat you like an asshole. You come off being like, hey, you know what? Straight up, I was fucking stupid. Yeah.
You might get a ticket, but hey,
might get a ticket, but fuck that. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get shot.
Yeah. So we wrap this up.
All right.
We're at hour 30.
Hour 30? Damn.
Probably split this up in half. One cop episode and one politics episode.
Neither of us are bitching that they're not long enough.
Okay.
We have both, so we just do what we want and put it out. And if you listen, you listen. If you don't, like you just listen to when you have time and you don't catch the full episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. I listen to every fucking Tuesday. As soon as it comes out, if it's not out by 10 a.m., I'm calling Ryan. What the fuck is your problem, man? Get this shit out there.
There's that one day a couple weeks ago where something fucked up when I was uploading it to YouTube.
Yeah, it's like fucking 4
It's
o'clock.
still on iTunes. I always put it on iTunes at the same time, but YouTube takes forever to upload to.
Yeah.
Well, Willito, it was awesome having you on, man.
Glad to be here. I always enjoy these. These are fun.
Always, guys. Always a good time.
Thank you for having me. I forgot to do that all day.
I know. Sorry if I sound like such a fucking little pussy all the time. Oh, guys, I want to talk like this from now on. Get a little John Wayne in there.
ModeCast out.
ModeCast out.
Adios.